for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move on now to roll call.
Councilmember Mazzoni,
Here.
Councilmember Palfini,
Here.
Councilmember Virasan. Mayor Parham.
Present.
May I have a motion to excuse Mayor Wetstein?
Mr. Mayor, I got a message. She is running.
She will be.
So may I have a motion?
I'll
to
make a
excuse the
motion
Roll call.
to
Thank you.
excuse her until she gets here.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we'll move on to the acceptance of agenda and urgency items.
Seeing no changes, I'll make a motion for the acceptance of the agenda items.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So at this point, we'll move on to non-agenda public comment. It's the time for anybody in the public that has a comment that's on the agenda to please come forward.
Sue Tavalero, 500, Sandy, 500 Woodridge Court, Weed, California. I sit on the Weed Parks and Rec Board, and it came to my attention that when Weed Parks and Rec came in to ask for Measure O money, they were asked to go to their other funder. I'm not real sure who that is, but when I was on the council, we had the election and the Measure O money was for seniors, libraries, and emergency services. So I just want to make sure that that's, and I realize it goes in the general, because there were so many things on it, it goes into the general fund and you can do anything you want with it. But in the spirit of what that election was with the seniors and the emergency services and the libraries, I think you ought to check with your Measure O committee to make sure that that's what's being done with that money. Because I was highly disappointed that that was what we were told, because we're not real sure.
What were you told?
To see the other funder. Right. And Measure O money is for those three things, and I realize it can go anywhere, but in the spirit of Measure O, it needs to stick with those things.
And the committee gave you no indication who the other funder was.
No, I know who the other funder was, but no, because there's not another funder. Yeah, I know what they're talking about, but there isn't another funder.
I also know what they're talking about. So it's okay.
Now I know.
It's Measure O money, which is
Right.
for the seniors.
And there is going to be a presentation.
I saw that. I'm gonna stay.
All right.
I'm gonna move chairs though, because it's colder.
All right, thank you. Do we have any other non-agenda public comment this evening?
Hi, I'm Denise Spade. I live at 15705 Archer Road in Weed, Lake Shastina. This is Charlene Hurst. I don't know your address.
16711 Friar Place in Weed.
Yeah, and we're here representing the Weed Farmers Market. We haven't been here for a couple of years to request TOT money, but Weed Farmers Market is now in its fourth year
Denise,
with,
that item is on the agenda and it will be later in the agenda, so the TOT will be decided later. This is for non-agenda public comment.
Yeah.
But you will have your chance when we get to that item.
Okay.
All right, do we have any other non-agenda public comments this evening? All right, seeing as there are none, we'll move on to council member announcements, meeting reports, and comments. And we'll start with Councilmember Virasan.
I have no report at this time, but did attend to graduation with the Weed Elementary School and the high school. Very proud of those kiddos that are going off to colleges and going off to high school. They did a great job. The parents did an awesome help with the decorations and everything. So very, very nice. So I wanted to thank all the parents that came and participate with the Weed Elementary School and the high school. So thank you very much.
Good.
All right. Councilmember Mazzoni.
Just one thing I had, went to to the LAFCO meeting this, past Wednesday, Tuesday, and we finalized the budget there for it. So it's gonna go up a little bit for each city that's involved in there, but it's more than reasonable. And then they said our next meeting would be September 8th, which will probably be my last meeting with them. So that's all I have for.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem Palfini.
Yes, I did attend a meeting at college, actually at Sons of Italy Hall for College of the Siskiyous, and the topic was vision and mission statement. It was very well attended by a lot of the community members. So I had to miss the museum meeting for Lincoln, so couldn't split myself in two. Sue was there. That's it for tonight.
All right, I don't have any reports. I would like to remind everybody about the farmers markets on Wednesday at Bel Air Park. We have Juneteenth coming up next Friday at Charlie Bird Park. We have the city cleanup coming up here on Saturday, I believe it's the 26th, if I have that correct. 27th, excuse me, I'm off a day. And also Weed Carnivale coming up here in July. So I encourage everybody to participate in those events. Now we'll move on to our presentation. Chair Ron Dickens is here from Measure O Committee to present their recommendation to the council.
Unfortunately, the chair is ill, so he has requested the city manager read his report.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, Measure O Committee, 4-year 26-27 final recommendations. Heretofore, during the tenure of the O Committee, members were tasked and have sought to fairly and judiciously consider financial requests various city agencies have brought before us, and we thereupon forwarded our recommendations to the city council for their approval, and thus was the spirit of the charter as we have come to perceive it. However, we, the members of the O Advisory Committee, acknowledge the gravity of the financial burden placed upon the city of Weed to remove toxic waste with the Main Street properties. Members are dismayed that we are unable to grant requested funds to the municipal and outside entities we have served thus far and have requested they seek funding elsewhere. We therefore vote as a committee to allocate O Committee resources to the city of Weed for use in the removal of the toxic waste debris of the 2 commercial buildings on Main Street. Respectfully submitted, Chair, Measure O Committee.
All right.
Do we respond or we just let it go until we get to the other one?
It's in July, correct?
So the agenda item is written that by motion that you'll consider accepting the recommendations with a review of the request to be placed on the July agenda.
Right, and for everybody in the audience, Measure O Committee is a recommendation committee. This council can take action as they see is proper or however it may fly. So that's all. Sorry.
I'm sorry? Yes, public comment,
Did you get your 3 minutes? No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
please.
Just kidding, you Sue.
Okay, that's what they recommend. But again, to the 5 of you, when the people voted, and if you ever want them to vote on anything else again, I'd be careful on that, because if you told them you were gonna spend this money on that and you're not going to, as much as we're all annoyed with what's downtown, you might be pushing some buttons on that. Because if you do that, then you've already put the precedent out that, well, in 4 years, we're not gonna really spend the money on what you want, so that's all I'm saying.
Well, I have to say, though, I'm a little bit confused here. I'm not quite sure exactly what we possibly could deny here or not approve. I mean, I agree with that. That was set up for everybody. And Measure O is a advisory committee, so it comes back in the five of the, on there, but I'm still confused as if we're not gonna give anything to anybody, so I'd like somebody to clear that up for me. Maybe I'm just that dumb, but I'm just confused on it. And I know what entity they're talking about. So that's a whole different, so that's all I'm asking. Just help me out here a little bit, because I know where it's supposed to go. Or it should go.
There was a lot of discussion, but my understanding leaving the meeting is they wanted to divert money to help out with downtown. That's what I was advised by the committee.
They did,
Yes.
they did.
No, the committee, yes.
All right. Well, we have a committee recommendation, and then the council will,
I'd just like to say that, as Mark stated, they are an advisory committee. The final decision as to how those funds are allocated lies with city council.
all right, do we have any other public comment? All right, seeing as there is none, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
I do need a motion. That's agendized as a motion. Motion to accept the recommendations and agendize the request for July.
All right,
I'll make a motion to vote on the Measure O recommendations in July. Does that cover it?
So are you looking to table this discussion really in the determination of how you'll allocate those funds to the next meeting? I think as agendized, it would be a direction that you're accepting what the Measure O committee recommended and you're telling staff to move forward with going ahead and preparing a budget resolution to carry out what they recommended. Versus if you want to push this to July to reconsider their recommendation, whether you want to carry it out or not, we can do that too.
Just what she said.
Yeah, I'll,
I think she gave an either or.
so I will move that we table this till the July meeting for council consideration on
I'll second
where those
that.
funds are spent.
That'll second.
Is your July meeting on the 9th? Carnival weekend, Carnival weekend?
Oh, no. I have to look at my calendar.
So we have to make a revision in the council meeting anyway.
That's not agendized. Moving the council meeting is not on the agenda.
So yes, the meeting would be on the 9th. Okay, we have a motion and a second to table the item until July 9th for council consideration on fund appropriation. Do we have any discussion?
May I have just a question about that? By delaying that discussion, how far are we delaying allocating funds?
Because they're being made in the same day.
Yeah, so basically the motion on the table right now is that we are not accepting the recommendation and that we are putting that off until the July agenda so the council can review and discuss and motion on those funds and where they get allocated.
Can I make a friendly amendment? With the decision on July 9th, that all funds will be retroactive to the original budget year, which is July 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would
Because we're
make sense.
talking, if we do a lunch, that's $5,000. Any donors, we'll take that and we can
Yeah,
waive
and
it.
these requests are for the 26-27 fiscal year.
Okay,
So
all
yeah,
right.
it will cover from the start of that fiscal year till June 30th.
Okay. So I don't need to make an amendment? Okay.
All right, any other discussion?
Is that what you were after? I wasn't sure.
I just want to make sure that the funds are going to be available as soon as possible and that we don't have a discussion on the 9th and then have a motion on in August to be able to accept. So,
Okay.
because I think the decision has to be made. I think that nobody's going to like where we end up. Obviously, if we reject Measure O, they're going to feel that we didn't accept their position. And I think there are other departments that probably need to weigh into our discussion. It's going to be an unpopular decision, but we just need to buckle down and make it. And
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of tabling Measure O funding till July 9th?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we'll move on to consent agenda. Item A by motion, council will consider adopting resolution number 25-2026, amending section 1204.6 of the weed personnel policies and authorizing the city manager's use of city-owned vehicle travel between residents and work locations. Item B by motion, council will consider adopting resolution number 26-2026, approving the repurposing of Bowles Fire funds to Main Street fire cleanup efforts. Item C, city clerk, by motion, council will consider approval of the May 14th, 2026 regular meeting minutes and May 28th, 2026 work session meeting minutes. Item D, by motion, council will consider approving payment warrants dated May 21st, 2026, including any voided warrants and manual issued items totaling $164,812.84. And item E, by motion, council will consider approval and filing of the end-of-month report for May 2026.
And
Do we have any public comment on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to pass the consent agenda as written.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we'll move on to our public hearing. First public hearing, item A, annual public hearing to review employee vacancy rates in conformance with AB 2561, Government Code Section 3502.3. City Council receive and file annual report on the status of vacancies at the city and the city's recruitment and retention efforts.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, my recommendation is that we receive and file the annual vacancy recruitment and retention report as required by Government Code Section 3502.3. Background. Assembly Bill 2561, codified as Government Code Section 3502.3, requires public agencies to conduct an annual public hearing on vacancies and recruitment and retention efforts before adopting the agency's final budget. The statute further requires agencies to identify obstacles within the hiring process and discuss potential improvements to recruitment and retention efforts. This report provides you, the City Council, and the public, with an overview of the city's current staffing levels, vacancy rates, recruitment efforts, retention efforts, and workforce challenges. The City of Weed currently maintains 36 authorized positions across all departments. Of these positions, 33 are filled and 3 are vacant, resulting in an overall vacancy rate of approximately 8.3%. Administration, 6 authorized, 6 filled, 0% vacancy rate. Fire Department, 3 full-time positions, 3 filled, 0% vacancy rate. Library, 2 authorized, 2 filled, 0%. Police, 16 authorized, 13 filled, 3% vacancy, or 3 vacant positions, which is about 18.75%. That's just below the 20% mark. Public Works, 9 authorized, 9 filled, 0%. So overall, we have a total of 36 authorized positions, 33 filled, and 3 vacant. The library, and I've got my individual reports for each department on what we can do to improve. But the conclusion is that the City of Weed continues to maintain a stable workforce despite the recruitment and retention challenges facing local governments throughout California. Of the 36 authorized positions, 33 are currently filled, resulting in an overall vacancy rate of 8.3%. No city department currently exceeds the vacancy threshold established under Government Code Section 3502.3C. I do recommend that you do the public hearing. prior to.
Would you mind speaking a little bit more directly
Sure.
into your microphone? Thanks. Appreciate it. That's for us challenged.
I do recommend that you do the public hearing.
All right, so we've had our staff report. We'll now open the public hearing. As we've had a presentation from staff, at this point, I think we're open to public comment. No public comments. All right, well, then we will,
I'm just confirming too that there's no representatives from a bargaining unit here that wants to make a presentation. That's part of what the law wants this hearing to accomplish too, but seems like we don't have any present. Just want that on the record.
okay. We have no bargaining
Thank you,
units coming up
Mackenzie.
to discuss, no public comments. All right, seeing as there is nothing, we will close the public hearing and move on to the city council discussion on the projects.
May I ask a question?
Of course, this is the time.
Chief, what is it that is keeping us from having filled positions?
Well, you could look at it from many different angles. I could give lots of reasons why. Right now, we're currently, we do have a line on a potential candidate to fill our 9th spot in patrol. As far as dispatch goes, well, let me go back to the patrol officer. So we have somebody who passed backgrounds who just started an academy. So they will not even be ready until, they won't actually come to work full-time till at least December, and then another 16 weeks after that before they can be on their own. So you're looking at 2027 by that time. As far as dispatchers go, we had quite a few applicants. We used a different hiring process to fly the position the last time. We went through rounds of testing, but all that process showed us that more applicants don't mean that we're going to end up with more qualified candidates. And we're having problems getting people calling us back. We've actually offered jobs and they've turned it down. So there's reasons probably for that. Each person has their own reason. I mean, what do you want to discuss about law enforcement, why people don't want to do it anymore?
I want to know if there's anything that we as a city council have control over that could assist your efforts. I understand, obviously, there's a number of things.
There's a
affecting
high
law-
expectation when you come to Weed. You're expected to work. And currently we are, despite what other agencies say, we don't make more money than they do. I'm losing officers to other agencies for more money to do less work, as I've stated before. When you come here, there's a high number of calls for the city of Weed. We have I-5 and 97 joining here. We have just recently in a local newspaper article, one of our neighboring agencies said that they don't allow people to sleep in their city and they tell them to go to Weed. And that was quoted in the article. So that, it all plays to the culture here with people coming off the freeway and then the calls for service. We stay busy. So if you can make more money and do less work, it's not, for some people, that's an easy decision.
You say that there's an indication that other agencies believe that Weed Police Department officers make more. It's my understanding that a great majority of the difference is likely in perk sections as opposed to,
It's not, we actually have less perks. We don't have shift differential. Every agency does.
that's what I was asking. What is it that we can look at?
We don't have, let's see, currently, we don't have take-home cars. We're the only agency in the county that I believe that's not offering some sort of take-home car for most of their officers. Some have, I mean, there's different plans there. I'm the only chief in the county that doesn't take home a vehicle. And we're talking not just 5 minutes away. We have agencies that are allowing people to take cars 60 miles round trip or more, 80 miles round trip, take them out of county. So those are some of the perks that other agencies are offering that we don't offer. So
And we don't currently offer an on-call pay either.
you're not on call. You get paid if you get called out, a standard 2 hours. But I believe I would have to do a salary comparison, but I believe that's less than some of the agencies are getting currently. But we do not have an on-call. There are agencies, neighboring agencies that offer on-call because that's their load, the level of their calls are at a place where their officers can respond from home. So that's the service that their citizens are paying for. We have somebody here 24/7. We try to never leave the town. And to my knowledge, and my staff that's here will probably back me up, we don't leave the town unattended where other cities do. They won't call somebody out for a transport. They'll drive them all the way to Wairika and leave their cities unattended. We don't do that. We find somebody to transport.
Well, Chief, I would be interested in maybe just a letter memo from you indicating areas which would assist in recruitment by making it more comparable. I understand that, budget is tight, but if we're moving forward and we're moving forward in a direction in November, I think at least it would be helpful to see kind of some areas that might be improved.
Sure.
Wish to speak?
And I would also ask if you can put maybe a little bit of a timeline behind that, as far as we're looking to the future, but what does putting more perks in line do for us in September or maybe December? Something there that gives us some guidance as to how immediate the need is.
Just today, the League of Cities, I believe, hosted a meeting on upcoming changes, possible changes to retirement. That retirement will change, if it passes, will change retirement for new hires after beginning in 2026, but something that's been brought up before, we actually have the worst. There's two different classes of retirement, classic and prepra. We have the worst for both of those. So that's another thing. Anybody, if you want somebody to stay here, you better offer them a decent retirement, not the lowest level possible.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the retirement issue was, if you're in one system, can we start you in a new system, or can we just move it to the new system?
There's been some conflicting, the current city manager has done some research into that. I'll let him speak to that. Past city managers were under the belief that that couldn't happen. But we also chose, several city managers ago also chose the lowest on purpose. So
Okay.
One thing, two things real quick. So your recruitment, how far of a distance do we recruit to try to get, like, through academies? Do we go to the Redwoods? Do we go to Butte?
we haven't been going to those academies recently. We do send flyers.
Would that help?
It's competitive around the state.
Right.
20 years ago, it was not uncommon to have 12 or 15 candidates for a position. Now we're getting one per year.
I know.
So
And you have no reserves either, right?
we currently don't have a reserve. Our hope is once this individual who's passed our background and is in the academy, once they reach a certain phase, then we'll be able to use them as a reserve, but eventually we want to bring them on as a full-time officer.
And is it possible to kind of sponsor somebody that may want to do that and put them through this academy? I know it's a year, but I'm just asking, so.
We are assisting using some of asset forfeiture money. We're not fully sponsoring in that aspect of pay, but we are sponsoring with equipment and.
Right, that's kind of what I mean.
That's what we're currently doing. It's the first time we've done that. We have offered it in the past and not received a single applicant.
Oh, okay, that says a lot.
Right.
I would like to interject because I've been trying to work with Chief to start working on these benefit improvements, especially with recruitment. One of the first problems I saw since being here was the relationship that a lot of our graduates at that time had from their days at the college. And so I want to give the college credit because we've had some back and forth over the last 9 months, and they have dramatically improved how they've handled things. And our latest recruit, I've quizzed him. There's a complete 180 from how they're talking about the city of Weed now versus prior reports. I think solving our relationship issues there was a big help in helping us get our first sponsored officer. And since I've been here, so I'm pretty excited about that. I also wanted to state that I am working on rewriting our personnel handbook, our personnel manual, And these are, so the shift differential, the take home and the start of the renegotiation, we're not the CalPERS is something that I would like to look at renegotiating because those are through the roof for everybody. And I would like to get into the renegotiation of retirement benefits as well. And I don't have all the facts yet regarding the retirement, but just over an initial conversation, they have told me it is negotiable, but I have to dig deeper into it. I don't think we need to wait till September, I hope. But I can at least get the personnel, a lot of this stuff I can do with chief and the staff directly by when I update this personnel manual to include some of those benefits in there, like take home vehicles and stuff and get them to you. Once legal's reviewed it, I do have to have the personnel manual reviewed by the staff because if they don't approve of it, it's not good anyway. So, but it's in the works.
All right.
Thank you.
Sounds like we have a positive path forward.
Yeah, can I ask you, other chief, a question? I know that we passed the resolution to be able to assist with the volunteers. I know it's showing that you have full capacity of firefighters right now, but are you getting enough recruitment to assist, especially as we're going into fire season?
So I actually had a question on that. It said that we had 3 positions funded. As far as I understand, we have 2 funded through the city, and our 3rd is funded through a FEMA grant. So on that report, I believe it's that direction, but during the summer, we bring on 3 seasonal firefighters. So we're at the point right now where we have a minimum of 2 on every day, with the exception of myself and the 2 lieutenants are 10-hour per day employees, and the seasonal firefighters are on 24-hour shifts. So they're on 24 hours a day. Thankfully, the lieutenants that I have right now, for the most part, are willing to stick around and respond to calls at night if we get them. But technically, they're not required to stay there because after their 10 hours, they're not getting paid until they go to another call. But with the $50 shift stipend, that should assist us in getting more volunteers. But additional paid personnel would be very beneficial to keep the minimum numbers on an engine every day.
Which, is it one of the lieutenants that's through the FEMA program?
Yeah,
Okay. So we're just paying the chief's wage and then one lieutenant, right?
yeah. When
FEMA, and how long does that last?
that expires June 2027. And just today, we submitted another application to hopefully continue that for 4 more years after June 2027. But we won't know that. Best case scenario is we would know January or February of next year if that position will continue to be funded.
You guys are moving right along. That's good. That's good. You gotta see that.
Right.
That's all I have.
Any other council discussion?
I just have a quick question. I noticed that there has, for our police department, do we have anything to attract more applicants? Or anything that, I noticed that there was several officers that transfer out of here, and they have told me that other county actually has a huge package for a new sign-on. So I was just wondering if we have anything like that to offer or to attract more applicants.
We have tried packages like that, signing bonuses in particular in the past. What you end up in is basically a competition with other cities, and it just gets out of hand. Just for example, within the last year, the city of Chico was offering $75,000 signing bonus for a dispatcher. So that's, we can't compete with that. City of Yreka offering $25,000 signing bonus. Then you're bound, there's some question over how much can you hold somebody to a contract after they've come on regarding years of service for the signing bonus. So, we kind of backed out of that. Some other cities have backed out of that too, because we didn't see any increase really in the number of applicants. And honestly, I'm more concerned about getting quality applicants than I am of quantity applicants. And that's becoming difficult as well. But based on the meeting today regarding the pending legislation and retirement, the complaint is now California is starting to lose to other states. So that's why this has come up. So there was a time when we would get applicants from out of state because they wanted to come to California. Now that trend has reversed and people are starting to leave the state.
I see. That's good. Thank you.
All right, any further discussion or questions from council?
Mine's a little more complicated, but so I just leave it. I'll have a different discussion regarding retirement packages and deferred expenses and deferred costs. I mean, what I can remember is that there was a large momentum to increase retirement, which is a good thing. The problem is it led to battles, just like what's happening from state to state. It happened within the state of California. And so cities would allow for higher retirement packages because they didn't have to pay for them now. They had to pay for them later. And consequently, it's happening again, is based on what you're just expressing, that it's going from state to state now. So it's not for me to be against the retirement program. I'm just saying it. I think that's for me as a city official to be cautious with the retirement packages, not to discourage. I think our officers are great.
I hear what you're saying. That goes hand in hand with the signing bonuses. It's a pitfall because the next city just does one better.
I know.
And I get what you're saying. At some point though, when you're not getting staff, and when you're already struggling with finances, you start having to have serious discussions about your ability to provide the police services that you're required to as an incorporated city. Just this week, the city of Willows is losing its contract with Glenn County. They don't know what they're going to do for police services. They did away with their police department to save money in 2017. And now the sheriff's department is saying it's too many calls and too expensive. You're not paying us enough. So now they're going to end their contract. They don't know what they're going to do. So that's the small town problem that's coming up. The requirements from the state coming down, the mandated this and the training for that. We had wasn't just 6 years ago, we had the mandated encryption system.
Well, my point would be actually just, I'd rather give it now, and plus the fact that our employees retirement's wonderful if you make it there. But other than that, current pay is good too. And if we could look at it as current pay, I prefer that than pushing down the road, but it's just a different way of
Right.
doing it.
Well, moving forward, we have some officers that have local ties and we're hoping to keep them. That's the hope with this new individual. He's actually local. So hopefully that, he has incentive to stay. But again, you want to provide a package that your people feel comfortable with staying. So.
And I would note that one of the new trends that I've seen is down payment assistance, and I would love for more officers to live in the city of Weed, so maybe we could look into that.
Well, we can have a discussion about that as well, and past problems with that. I understand everybody wants the police to live local, but the locals don't understand that you don't come to the police officer's door when he's off duty and in the middle of a call and want him to handle that. That's been a problem.
I got a couple vacancies up on mine. Use tenants instead of grass that's 3 feet tall.
All right, do we have any other questions or discussion from council?
I'm good. Sorry you asked.
All right. We have a motion to accept the annual report.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the the report, I guess, what is it, just a report?
Public hearing and.
Huh? I guess it's just,
I'll help you out here.
our
So,
action is to to move forward and look into ways so we can re-recruit.
I will make a motion that we receive and file the annual report on the status of vacancies for the city of Wheaton.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, our last hearing item, item B, public hearing to consider second reading and adoption by title only of ordinance number 491-2026, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Weed, California, amending section 14.04.230 of chapter 14.04 Water System. I've Title 14, Public Services regarding water service to vacated of.
Mr. Mayor, you don't need to read it in its entirety.
Thank you. We had that last month, so,
You're not gonna get anybody to second.
all right, so now we'll move on to the staff report for our second reading here.
Again, thank you for the opportunity to get this done. This is one section of the code that's down. Again, I want to give Mackenzie and Mike Britton and all the others who've participated in bringing it to fruition. This is going to, the goal, I can't control California law. I've heard plenty of complaints from contractors regarding that. But it will at least make it easier for people to read our code so it's up to date with where we need to be. That's the best I can do where we're at right now, short of an altering statute. So at least it'll make all the code congruent with what the current standards are, whereas before it took a lot of indexing and coordinating and reading and just finding little things to make people's lives easier when they're looking up the laws and requirements that they need.
All right, so now we'll open the public hearing. We've already had our staff report, so do we have any public comments on the item this evening? No, at least our public's still awake. Appreciate that. All right, do we have any other interested parties? If not, we will close the public hearing and move on to council discussion and questions. Crickets?
Cricket's here. We've discussed this several times regarding making all of our statutes standardized, so.
Yeah.
I had my questions answered, so.
All right, well, if there's no further discussion,
Make them,
we'll accept the motion.
I make a motion to adopt all of the ordinances listed in public hearing B.
good job.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, now I'll move on to council business. Item A, administration by motion, council will consider resolution number 27-2026, approving Pace Engineering's proposal for City Fire Station Phase 1, schematic design, engineering, surveying, and architectural services. And ready for our staff report.
Sure, let me get to it. So as part of assisting with getting the fire station process moving, I checked in with Pace regarding just coming up with a proposal for council so we can keep this process moving forward. Next month, we will be asking for permission to apply for we're doing a pre-application right now, but we're going to bring it to you to ask for permission to apply for it with the application process. But right now, Pace is offering to do the schematic design and where to get a fire station developed where our public works place is at. For several years, we've been operating with the facility owned by Roseburg Forestry Products. As you know, we have had multiple attempts of trying to negotiate with them. We still have a third option that we're following up on, but no fruit has happened yet. So in response, we've been actively exploring alternatives, as you know, to ensure long-term stability of Chief Carter's facilities. We've initiated discussions, like I said, with USDA, and Brian and Jill and everybody's been helping us out with that. I appreciate their help on that. The proposed agreement with PACE represents the first phase of this effort because, as you know, applying for grants and stuff, we need the design. That's been one of my challenges. So the scope of work includes surveying, civil engineering, architecture, structural engineering, electrical engineering, mechanic and plumbing engineering, geotechnical investigation, preparation of schematic design documents, preliminary cost estimates, and assistance with the USDA funding application. They'll also help us with that as well as we move forward. This design process will provide the information needed to pursue grant and loan funding and to secure future design phases. The proposed site for this facility is obviously the city's corporation yard property at the Public Works site. And Chris and Chief Carter have been working together on that. So thank you so much. Approval of this agreement does not authorize construction, of course. Rather, it authorizes preliminary planning, design, and funding activities to determine project feasibility and position the city for future funding opportunities and keep this process moving forward.
What is
I have a question. So for the public, how long is that contract with Roseburg? So we're not getting pushed and pulled around. What is the time limit on it, Chief, for that? I know, I kind of know what it is, but I want you to know.
So every year, both parties, so City of Weed and Roseburg, have the ability with a written letter to get out of the agreement within 30 days of when it renews, and it renews January 1st every year. So it would be end of November, beginning of December would be when we could potentially get a document stating that the agreement will not be continued, which includes us occupying our current facility for the fire station.
So I have two follow-up questions. First question, in regards to the work with PACE for design and engineering services, would that be transferable to any other property once completed, other than the Public Works facility?
They're doing specific site work for the Public Works area, the Public Works lot.
All right, and the other question I have, and this may be for Chief Carter or Dr. Stambaugh or even Mackenzie, is with the potential sale of Roseburg property with the bidding process in August, does our contractual agreement standing today run with the land on that until December? Or do we have a risk of a new property owner giving us a 30-day notice in August?
Mackenzie, I will defer to you on this one.
Yeah, I'm not certain off the top of my head, but I don't recall seeing any provision that allows them to renege on a current lease or anything like that upon sale or transfer. I think it would be assignable to whoever subsequently purchases the property, at least through the current term of the lease. But I will confirm and follow up.
Thank you. All right, do we have any public comment? No public comment, all right.
So everybody knows what we're looking at is losing our current fire hall. This is what the discussion is about, so sometimes I see blank looks out there. I want to make very clear on that's what we're talking about.
What's the monetary impact for the public?
This particular agreement is $146,250.
And do we have allocation for that?
Like the project downtown, no, we have to find it. But I at least wanted to get it before you to have that discussion.
That's for the fire department?
What's that?
What's the 446,000?
The 146,250 is just to do the beginning phases of the design work for the fire department, for the fire station.
We did the same thing for the Main Street properties as well.
Yeah, no. Well, fire department department, you have to have a fire department. It is what it is.
Can I add clarification to that? So basically what this is right now, when we request potential costs for a new building, we can't get very accurate information with no plans or even the engineering for the land from any contractor because they don't know what to base it off of. So this work is basically step one before we can really get any accurate information onto how much the potential cost could be.
Well, this portion to me is a no-brainer. My question is where are we going to get the money from?
Right now, we're applying for a USDA loan to cover the cost for the majority of it, but for
But we
the,
can't get the USDA loan until we have this done,
that
correct?
is correct.
So
No, hold on, I need to correct that. So we have to complete the pre-application for the USDA loan. And once we complete that pre-application, we can include these costs into that.
Yes.
But this work is not necessarily required before we get the application, but we won't be able to continue with the full application before this work is done because we won't know how much the loan needs to be for.
Okay, I guess I'll ask another way. Jill, how does this work? Do they hold payment until the USDA loan comes through, or do we have to find $150,000 to pay that the USDA loan will pay back?
Yeah, we'll have to take it from reserves. Also, I don't know if we can do this right now, but I think that staff probably needs direction to proceed with the pre-application because that hasn't been given yet, right?
That's correct.
So on this item here, are you asking for authority or direction to move forward?
Well, I like her idea because I was going to do it next month. But essentially, I want permission and direction to authorize Jill and Brian to continue with the pre-application that they've started. That's one item. If we can do that, Mackenzie, in lieu of also authorizing us to authorize PACE to continue with step one. And I appreciate the clarification, Chief Carter, because I was thinking the whole process, not just individual steps.
I would think that direction could be rolled into the motion for acceptance if we go that route. It looked like we had some potential public comment.
Is the new station going to go where the old station is?
Can you step up? Can't hear you. You know better.
Is the new station going to be taken down and the old station taken down and the new station put in its place, or is it a new location?
No, so the current fire station is actually owned by Roseburg Forest Products. They own the building, they own the land it sits on, and we are currently on an annual contract with them to occupy that 100-year-old building. So what we're looking at right now is we are at risk of losing that potentially in December, depending on how things shake out. We're not having communication with them on the issue, and we don't know who's going to own that property in August. And so this discussion tonight is on engineering the site at the existing Public Works Yard on Shastina Drive. So Chief Carter and Director Davis, as well as the rest of staff, have been looking at a potential area on a currently owned city property that would service for a modern fire station. And so that's really the concern that we have, is making sure that we don't lose our fire station or have a home for our equipment and personnel. And so while this is an expensive endeavor, something we're looking at doing to maintain continuity of fire services.
Are there any grants available through the federal government regarding this?
Staff has been researching diligently the last 6 months since this process began, looking at grants. Right now, the best option we have on the table is a loan from USDA, which is, I believe, partial grant, partial loan. So it's going to be expensive, as everything is, to build a facility like that. So this makes it more palatable over time.
Just to clarify, it'll be a full loan, but any grants that they find, we were told by the rep can go towards offsetting the loan. So
How assured are we of getting the loan? Is it 100% at this point, or?
It's not 100%, but when I had a discussion with the USDA representative, really the first step in knowing exactly what our potential is for that, what the interest rate would be, what the length of the loan would be, is finishing the pre-application. So once we are able to do that, with your guys' approval, then we would be able to get that certainty to you regarding that.
So it's going to cost us roughly $150,000 to get certainty? Is that?
Well,
I'm just, I'm hearing
No.
this right? So, but I don't think we really have a whole lot we don't have an option B. Unless some miracle comes along and Roseburg finds a heart, which I kind of doubt over my experience anyway.
Well, I would also note that they've outgrown that facility. And so
Yes.
if we want to maintain our fire equipment, we're going to have to get a more suitable building.
And it is very important to maintain a fire department, because if you lose your ISO rating, if you think insurance is expensive now, wait till you go to a 10. And that's going to add about another 30% to your bill.
all right, we have more public comment.
In the city, we need to make sure that we keep that fire tower that we own at the college. That helps our ISO also. Did we already spend the 6.8 million that we got from the mill fire from Roseburg, the city got?
Well, there's a little bit of a misnomer there. We were awarded, I think it was 7, and after legal fees, it was 4.7 or something like that. I'd have to redo the math, but
So we've exhausted that then,
No,
I'm assuming? No, it's
no,
still there.
that's not correct.
yeah.
So, yeah, it was, I think it was 7.1 or something, and what we actually received was the 6.8. So a
Was it-
portion of that has been set aside for Lincoln Heights improvements, and the part that was for lost income to the city of Weed, we have been using to sustain our operations over the last few years.
That's also for future losses that folks that did not, they got their settlements and left. But, we have to do what we have to do. But that money was set aside, a lot of it, not all of it, a lot of it, the majority of it. Sue, you were on the council.
No, I know, yeah, so it's still there.
We kind of all agreed on that's kind of how
Right.
it was going, so,
I believe the number is 4.3 million in that reserve account.
yeah, it's still,
4.3 million was put into deferred revenue, correct?
it's still,
Okay,
we bit hard on it. Not to spend it.
All right, do we have any other public comment? Any further discussion or questions, council?
I do have one. So, so Pace has it, but did it didn't have to go out to bid, or we didn't get any other bids on it, or did we just Pace gets everything that we do? I'm just wondering.
McKinsey, I will need your help to answer this question, but we, through PACE, found another way to pursue this because of the timing. McKinsey, do you remember that conversation?
Sure. My understanding is you already have PACE retained for on-call services. This was a way that you could use the agreement you have with them for their on-call services to avoid having to spend more time and money with a public bidding process. Because this is for professional design services, competitive bidding isn't strictly required by law, by state law at least. And this was just a streamlined way to go with the consultant you already have retained.
And we thought that because of the timing was the logic behind it.
And then my thing is, if we pass this, then we have to come with that 146,000 like now, right?
Well, not
Upon completion
today,
of the
but I
product.
mean,
Okay.
soon.
So it still gives it pretty soon, right?
Pretty
So I want to be clear on where we're at, and
Pace's practice is they usually invoice as they go. So when they hit milestones, they usually send
Oh, I
a
know.
monthly invoice. Yeah, you know.
I'm signing the check. I
But
see.
that doesn't help us as far as,
No.
we still have to end up paying.
That's like a no-brainer to, fine, we need a brand.
My
new fire
question would be for Jill is that, again, and we've approached this subject before, and it's not the direction I want to go, but it's a direction of necessity. Can we do interdepartment transfers, or can we reallocate, or what kind of tools can we use?
So a portion of the Roseburg settlement is general fund money, which we have been using for the repairs we had to make to City Hall. We've been drawing from those reserves, and that would be where we would draw this from, is those reserves.
But we still have that ability, right?
Yes,
Okay.
from the,
It's not a choice, but it is somewhat of a necessity. Again,
Where was it drawn from?
from the portion of the Roseburg settlement that was for lost revenue, they called it. It's not set aside in deferred revenue. It's part of the general fund. And we've been having to use that.
but my biggest problem, it's that if we do the 150 and if we get the loan, we can repay it, but if we don't, that's a tough pill to swallow, but.
Well, if we don't
I
do
know,
this, we have
that's-
no path
that's a
forward.
Decision that we get to wear, I suppose.
Can't table this.
Chief, can you draft a letter explaining why it is that you need the larger facility? How its location would benefit the city of Weed at large? And is this facility going to contain extra housing, extra offices? Is that the way we're going to design it?
There's no space.
Are you
No
talking
space.
about the future station,
Yes.
potential future station?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd like to build it to account for potential growth.
If you could include what you envision in that letter and get it to me in my email.
You know, on a real positive note on this, the city saved a lot of money, department, having that fire department where it's gonna go, because the properties that we were looking at before then,
There's a
they
lot.
were quadruple what this, I mean, so I mean, that made it easier for me to go, hey, you know, so, but we don't have choices on this, everybody.
Well, we're-
They need a brand new, you know, fire department, police department needs one too, so I mean, it goes
So-
from there, but this is what we need to do.
Is it the
Police
council's,
department's going upstairs. No.
is it the council's desire to want him to write the letter? Just so I'm clear.
Sure,
Uh,
I'm fine with that, so I can see it, but.
I make a motion to give direction to the staff to consider resolution number 272026, approving the professional service agreement with Pace Engineering for Fire Station Phase 1 schematic design and authorizing the city manager to execute or move forward, however you want to put it.
I'll make a friendly amendment that we include in that direction for staff to move forward with the USDA paperwork, as well as the requested letter from Councilmember Wetstein for the council.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
Speak.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Item B, Planning Department. By motion, council will consider introduction and first reading by title only of ordinance number 492-2026, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Weed amending sections 5.24.020 and 5.24.030 of Chapter 5 25.24 of the Weed Municipal Code, restricting the issuance of new permits for short-term vacation rentals.
This is me responding to the Planning Commission's recommendation that we apply a short-term vacation rentals cap. And after reviewing the current distribution and impacts of short-term rentals operating within the city, the Planning Commission expressed concerns regarding the cumulative impacts on vacation rentals and neighborhood character, housing availability, and long-term stability. The proposed ordinance would amend Chapter 5.24 of the Weed Municipal Code to prohibit the issuance of new vacation rental permits and the renewal of existing ones effective September 1st, 2026.
All right. Do we have any public comment on this first reading? No, apparently everyone's here for TOT tonight. Do we have any council discussions or questions?
So this is just for new Airbnbs. There are no more. We're gonna put the cap. But the folks that have them right now, they don't have to concern? You're not gonna try to go stop them from having what they have?
That is correct. It's just for future.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're not allowing any new Airbnbs?
This would stop it.
Is that
This-
what,
this-
is that what we want? That's kind of a no-growth stance in my opinion.
No. I might wanna.
You might want to rent yours out of Airbnb. I just kidding, but, was there a point to the Planning Commission going in that direction that you're aware of?
My interpretation is that the challenge with Airbnbs is at one end, it does provide options for people to come here on short-term stays. But the flip side is that it also takes away for housing availability.
That's true, but I got 3 vacant homes at my house.
The Planning Commission.
I don't think
requested
vacant
that-
homes and I actually would probably go to whoever would look at vacant homes in the city. Do we have a lot of vacant homes or are we full up?
I think you're comparing homes for sale versus homes for rent. Just for an example, it's not uncommon currently for people to be paying rent over $2,000 a month to live up by the high school. So that's a supply and demand issue.
Capitalism.
And do you think by having no rentals, that would push that price down?
Restricting short-term rentals, the theory at least is yes, because I had a different issue, but the more, if you expand supply, the price is going to go down. That's the theory. So short-term rentals in theory, shortens the supply. And that has been shown in a lot of bigger cities, and why there's this reverse trend of policy recommendation for a lot of cities to not go that route.
Well, I can see it getting out of hand because I believe Dunsmuir is one of those communities, McLeod is one of those communities, and so is Mount Shasta. And they've all put caps on. I don't know if we've approached that. I would probably love, owning a piece of property, I'd probably love that approach, but anyway.
So how many do we have in the city?
I think 16,
Anybody
is
know?
that right?
I'd have to go back and look. I know that I would have to do a count. When we did the count for the Planning Commission, I know that they've approved a few more. The
see.
Planning Commission was requesting council consider putting a cap on the amount of Airbnbs, because there has been a surge.
But who brought this up to bring it to the planning commission?
The Planning Commission requested you guys
They
review
come up
it.
with that idea?
Yeah,
So was
I
it
can
more
speak to
than
that.
30 that we have here?
When I was the acting city manager, those were discussions that started prior to Dr. Stambaugh's time here. So this has been an ongoing discussion. As they keep receiving more applications, they had a growing concern over the housing stock.
Okay. So you're feeling that there was a movement in that direction?
The sense I got from them over my time as the acting was that they were receiving another one, kind of questioning why so many, all of a sudden, the surge that was mentioned. So this isn't something new. This is something that's been on the back of their minds now for some time, so.
I'm still questioning on it. I mean, 6 or 7 in the town, to me, is not a lot.
Well, I don't know what we have, so.
Well, I'd like to know what we have.
Well, I think one of the other issues is that,
How,
and the definition of short-term is less than 30 days, right?
you wouldn't want something, no.
I think the surge that is being observed is that there are outside influences that are purchasing homes in Weed, not people who own homes in Weed and then choose to Airbnb. So the options are you either allow individuals to come in and deteriorate the community that we have if they're purchasing houses and flipping them into Airbnbs. And as a person who raises kids here, I think we need to keep control on who our community is. And I think you got to make a decision one way or another to be able to maintain that, and capping Airbnbs is one of them.
Well, the observation that I've had over the years is between the fires and the increase in outside investment for short-term vacation rentals or buildings sitting vacant, which is an issue here in our community, is that we've lost hundreds of people in our population to surrounding communities that are no longer in our city limits. So I understand the concern from the Planning Commission and their recommendation.
And plus, if they're rebuilt, there's potential for Airbnb, I could say that, but.
And also consider, this is first reading, council has the discretion to make changes to it if they do decide, like, right now, currently, the way the code is written, our Airbnbs or short-term rentals do not have an expiration date, so once they're permitted, they're permitted. You guys could consider that. You could consider, I want to say we're in like the 15, 16, 17 range. I'd have to go back and look. It's been a while since I've counted. So you could, yeah, I mean, you could consider a number cap. But yeah, you could consider, modifying the ordinance and putting an expiration, having it to where they expire in a year and they have to reapply. And if they don't reapply, then they lose it. Something like that, where it doesn't just, once they have it, they have it.
So, in a property there's Airbnb, if a person purchased that in, say someone purchased that same property and keep the Airbnb, do we have to regulate that, or do we,
Mackenzie, I'm going to refer to you on this one because those are currently done with a conditional use permit. But if an applicant purchases a house and they are approved for a short-term rental through the conditional use permit, they sell the home, will that particular use permit run with the land, or will it stop once they?
No, you hit the nail on the head that it runs with the land. So subsequent purchasers could also make use of it that way. And underlying all of this is sort of the fairness concerns of taking away someone with vested rights and a vested interest to continue their livelihood. If we do want to taper off and take these rights away from folks, generally there is a baked in time frame where they can maybe recoup the expenses they've invested into their business model. It might take a couple of, out of fairness, we might want to give them a couple of years. That's why we see things where we have ordinances that allow non-conforming uses to be grandfathered in for a while. So we would want to give a little more consideration to that. And that's why the currently permitted uses are allowed to continue as currently drafted.
I would like to make the motion if there's no more questions.
Do we have any public comment or any
Oh,
further
sorry, yeah.
discussion?
I'd like to make a motion for the introduction and first reading by title only of ordinance number 492-2026, restricting the establishment of new short-term rentals, and direct staff to give us a number prior to the second reading on how many that we currently have. Okay.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Any,
Get more information.
Well, that's what I asked for was. Okay.
do you have any opposed?
Okay.
All right, motion carries with one abstention. Next, we'll move on to item C, finance. By motion, council will consider resolution number 28-2026, approving and adopting the fiscal year 26-27 annual budget.
Oh, boy.
So, the budget, the proposed budget is presented to you. Again, no fluff in the budget. It's mostly personnel. 35% of personnel is police. And we've got 15% for public works. And it's a bare bones budget. There's, we're trying to make do the best we can with limited resources. So at this time, I'd like to open it up to any questions that you guys might have for me.
I'd like to make the statement that Daryl and I went over this budget with Jill, and we had all of our questions answered.
What'd you ask?
I don't remember anymore. But actually, but I just asked questions regarding what our budget looks like by category. Why we had some big drops in 2026-27 regarding water and sewer. Those were asked and answered because of large projects that have either not been completed, so we didn't introduce any budget item. So it's just not there because we haven't put it into the system or we haven't received the grants. We asked about some special revenue classes of funds, resources by category. I wanted a definition of what services, differences between services and hard goods and all of the little operation pieces that we promote, that we pay for. And technically, where do we go from here? Was a big question. Plus the question I already asked her about interfund transfers. I did have a question about a used vehicle, but we already passed that, and it was really, the point was mute anyway.
So the largest takeaway that I had in the budget review is that not only are we being conservative with the budget, but we are not including revenues from grant funding or from any kind of receivership activity such as any like drug fund money, things like that, items that are seized. So that is not included, as well as not including potential funds from like strike team work from the fire department. So this is a very conservative budget. That doesn't mean that this is the high end. This is kind of the low end of what we're looking at. And we have an opportunity through grant funding and any other, seizures or strike team funds to increase the budget numbers. So basically, we didn't plan on money that wasn't guaranteed or projected from sales or property taxes.
With that being said, Jill, is it still your opinion that we need the 1.5% sales tax to be able to maintain our fire department and police department?
Absolutely.
That was asked too.
Exactly. So we're in a deficit.
We're in a deficit.
Okay, that's just throw it on the table. We're in a
I
deficit.
think more specifically, the question I asked was, what will the 1.5%, I don't think Daryl was in the room at that point, but what does the 1.5% actually do for us? And that primarily, the answer is it just catches us up and we have a little bit of, not much to do anything with, but a start to rebuild the surplus back in. So, but it wasn't great gains. There's not many funds coming in from any other sources. I believe it's, as every community in Siskiyou County and probably Shasta County is experiencing is that we're not getting funding. And so the funding, the buck stops here and it stops with our citizens in this city. And I'm pretty trustful of the citizens of the city that we've always pulled together, and I think this is one of those moments. It's not a flashy moment. It's not a fire. But I'm gonna tell you what, it's a point it's desperately needed. And there is no doubt about that. So
I'm gonna just interject because the TOT tax can be agendized for another meeting, and we don't want to toe the line into advocating.
I don't
So
know, I didn't hear what you said, but I'll agree with it.
So to answer your question without advocating, 1.5% sales tax increase would balance the budget and would leave us between 6 and 7% surplus funds based on current projections.
That's why I support it.
So that could go higher or lower depending on revenue sources and the economy in the future.
But I like people in the audience and people that are on the 5 or 6 that are watching, or it gets around, the city's in a deficit. So now we have to make decisions that we had to make through the years since I've been on here, that were some hard decisions to make, but we made them. And so we're gonna be the bad guys in this thing or whatever, but in the long term, it's, and hopefully when new councils come on, they see the same vision. And there's not a whole lot we can do. I mean, if you don't have it, you don't have it. And so my thing is, I'll say it again, we need to quit spending money if we don't need it. And I can see some.
I told you so. I can just see it out there. It said, I told you so.
Okay, just say it like it is. You know, it's straight up. So, I mean, it's nothing bad, but I agree with Ken, and this city's resilient. I've seen it come back. And I've seen a lot of the same folks that are sitting inside and saying, no, bring it back. But I want it to be completely honest. I mean, it bothers me.
Well, Mark, what I hear is we've had two very proficient individuals go through our budget, and there is no fluff. And with having no fluff, no padding, being down 3 police officers, Chief Carter being in a situation where we're trying to make sure that he has his individuals, that our chief financial officer is telling us we need 1.5% to close that. And I think that's the takeaway. There's nothing left that we can cut.
You can't spend.
Is what it is.
No, I
If
agree.
we want a fire department, if we want a police department that's well maintained, that
Totally agree. Those are necessities that you need. So you're not gonna get through it. It's, just be careful where you grab money from and where you, because I'm telling you, that's gonna backfire in the long run. And I won't be here next year anyway, so I'm sure everybody knows it's my last term, so
We're gonna come after you for that 1.5%.
I'm tired of having a stomachache.
Any more
But this is
Do we have any other-
a hard thing gets here, so you folks out there, somebody run.
Do we have any other questions for the council or any public comment?
That's already on the agenda. No.
So I'm okay with 1.5% with the, I was all for 0.5%, but we won't go there, Ken, of a sales tax.
I can't hear you. What'd you
But
say?
right now, Measure O was for 3 certain things, and you're telling Measure O, you're telling those, the seniors, the library, and the emergency services that they can't have that money. So what makes me think, when I go out and vote, if I go out and vote, yes, for the 1.5, that the next council is gonna even do what they say they're gonna do? Are they gonna get the fire and the police back? Are they gonna get the city? How do I know that? Can you be trusted with what it was said it was going to be for? And I understand it's general fund, because if we do it, we want 50% plus 1, not this 66 or whatever it was. But you're setting a precedent by telling Measure O, you're not gonna get any money because we need to spend it on something else. So I'm just saying, watch, I'm all for it, maybe.
We talked about that. You weren't here at the workshop, but we talked about it.
No, okay.
So I'll make a point of clarification there for the citizens.
All for it, maybe.
That recommendation was from the Measure O committee, not this council. And as we voted on earlier this evening, we rejected that and put it on. Exactly. So we did not accept their recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Exactly.
Because as an individual who's not a fan of taxation, I as well voted yes on that Measure O money when that vote came through as a citizen for those
And
purposes.
I'm not for it either, but I'm voting for
No,
taxation.
you're right, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, that's why it was tabled to look at, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, unfortunately, it's been interpreted that we've already said no, and that's, I don't even know what you asked for yet.
Well, I'll take a different approach. I would encourage any citizen to come talk to me about where my alliance leans with fire and with police. And I think if they sit down and have a conversation, then they will know where that money would get used with me as a council person.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really the thing for all of our citizens out there is we all are here serving for you and we can have a conversation. There's also other considerations out there that we have to take into account when we allocate money. For instance, what people don't know is us having to put water onto a building to maintain public safety. And so sometimes public safety is going to have to take precedent over where we want to spend money. And it might not be, hate to say the word, it might not be sexy where we choose to use the funds, but in the world of necessities on how we make sure that we're accommodating for everyone, we have to make some tough decisions. And sitting down one-on-one, I could definitely have a discussion, an intelligent discussion on why we might have to shift money into certain locations, but we will never leave our police department and we will never leave our fire department behind. And I would hope that would be what is spread when people are talking about this 1.5% tax.
Well, and I will say that while most of the people in the audience are here for TOT disbursement, I am thankful for the public comment. And for the 7 people watching on YouTube at home, I would encourage you to talk to 7 other people to come to the council and ask these questions and share your opinions. I don't spend much time on social media, but I see a lot of misinformation going around different social media sites, mostly from non-citizens talking about the city of Weed, the people that don't live here. But the way you get the right information is to come ask those questions and make your voice heard. So, and the budget and all of this is public information and is on the website. So I would encourage people to go to the website and review it there so you can have directed questions on line items. So thank you for your comments. With that said, do we have any other public comment?
Sue?
So I always wanted to say this. Could I get a point of order, please? So anyway, I'd like to make a motion for the council to consider resolution number 282026, approving and adopting the fiscal year 26-27 annual budget.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And now we'll move on to the main event that I think everyone is here for.
Where's Vanna?
Item D, transient occupancy tax.
Vanna.
By motion,
Vanna no
consider
more?
requests for
You know,
TOT
fine, come
disbursements
on.
and approve allocations.
I didn't bring my glasses.
I'll interject just to ask if there's any council member who has any disclosures they'd like to make.
All right, I will go first with the disclosure that I am a member of the board for the Weed Chamber of Commerce. Have been for several years. It is a non-paid position. I do not receive any financial compensation for my service there.
I am a founding member of the Family and the Community, the Family Resource Center of Weed and of the Siskiyou Community Resource Collaborative. I am the board president currently. I do not receive any remuneration. I am also been appointed to the Collier Information and Interpretive Center. I sit on their board. I am not given any money for that other than whatever they give us at the city. I am a member of the Long-Term Transportation, Local Transportation Committee. And what is the last one? There's another committee. Oh, Solid Waste Committee that I've never been to, but anyway. I'm done.
All right. Do we have any other council members with disclosures on their nonprofit work?
No. So you guys can't talk now?
No, we can. We just, if it's a paid position or you receive any kind of financial compensation, you have to be recused. But, all right. Well, we've got the allocations in front of us here. Unfortunately, a TOT is down again.
Did we have an assessment? It wasn't in our packet, was it?
How much is it? We can't see.
I believe it's 63,400.
Yeah, 63,400.
$63,400.
Yep. Try and make some.
And did you want to have any of the members?
Yes, so I think we'll start, well, Dr. Stambaugh, I think is in the restroom, so we'll start with, if we have representation from the Collier Interpretive and Information Center.
I'll speak on their behalf, since I don't see any board member here, if that's okay. Do I need to step off the dais to make a promotional thing for Collier Information Center?
That's a formality. You can just clarify that you're speaking on their behalf and not in your behalf as a council member.
Do I need to say anything, is what she said?
Just, we'll note for the record, you're not speaking as a council member. You're speaking in your
Okay,
private
I'm
role.
speaking as a member of the Collier Interpretive and Information Center as a board member. I would say that the Collier Interpretive and Information Center is pretty much a visitors bureau for the whole county. Whether you give them money or not, they will still continue to promote the city of Weed like they promote every community in this area in Siskiyou County. We normally used to give them about $1,000 a year. I don't believe we've given that $1,000 probably for maybe 5 years. So their ask is for $2,500. We are not able to mandate any funds for the current center because that's part of the JPA that we've all signed. However, that memorandum was signed, or that JPA was formed, I don't know, somewhere in 1990. And at this point in time, those old tendencies not to get any money from the cities that we represent is kind of outdated. So the $2,500 is operational fees so that they can continue to open the doors, so we can continue to advertise. And without these funds, we will just lock the doors. And I don't think that will be promoting Siskiyou County at all. And I believe that is the dire straits that they're in. So this doesn't come lightly, but it is mandatory that we get funding from the people that we represent, and one of those communities is the city of Weed. We're doing the same thing to every community, or we're asking from every community. We'll be happy to be successful in 50%. And the county is the only one that actually keeps us kind of barely floating. They give us about $12,000 a year. So that's not, actually, we're having to cut our employee, and I don't even think she's working right now because we're going to have to wait till we get enough money to put her back on the payroll. So anyway, that's my promotion. So that's why we need $2,500.
All right, we'll go back to the top, the city of Weed.
Mr. Mayor, we're just looking for new ways to offset costs to downtown cleanups, so the city is requesting.
All right, Family and Community Resource Center. Have anybody from Resource Center here?
I can speak for the Family and Community Resource Center. We have 3 requests. One is for, I'm not speaking as a city council member. We have one request for Kids Fun Day. Kids Fun Day brings in for one day 2,600 kids and parents, mostly kids, I can tell you that. We are joined with roughly 40 to 45 nonprofits or other organizations for one day. We produce bounce houses, entertainment for a magic show, music, all for kids to enjoy at zero cost to the kids. We have the Rotary comes in, serves hot dogs. We provide pancakes, courtesy of Grocery Outlets, pancake mix and milk and whatever else is necessary. Casa Romos comes in and provides tacos, although one of their kids cut their hand off last time. Anyway, that was our only tragedy in years. This is year 11 we've just did. We have grown every year, and I don't think there's any other activity that brings 2,600 people to Weed for one day in any event. That's the first request. The second, and I don't have the funds in front of me, Sandy, so the second request is for summer fun camp.
Yep.
We are the only organization that to my knowledge, that brings a day camp for children from ages 5 to 10. We give them, I think it is 6 weeks of entertainment for their parents. If a person can afford to pay, they pay, I think it's $350, which is pretty reasonable for 8 hours worth of childcare per day. And if you can't make it and you need to go to work, we give you scholarships, and so there is very little pay, if any at all. So that money is being requested on behalf of the kids because they provide lunches. Great Northern helps us with some costs on that. Again, Grocery Outlet helps us with food costs. The Recreation Department helps us with the swimming pool, and if it's rainy, indoor activities. And the College of the Siskiyou helps us as well. So it's a kind of a community effort. The third request is, let me go, 1, 2, 3. What's the third? What was the third?
Movies in the park.
Movies in the park. We attempted Movies in the Park a couple of years ago, I think. Was it last year even?
We had it for the last 2 years.
Okay. We were lucky enough to get another request from the city of Wairika to do Movies in the Park. We thought they were going to fund it all. Turns out that they did not. They were just going to give us some money to do it. So the McConnell folks at the McConnell Foundation purchased the equipment for us. And so what we're allowing for is the manpower to operate the thing. I believe we allocated 3 movies this year. And I think each movie cost us $500 for licensing, something of that nature. Oh, we got it down. It was $1,000. They raised it this year to $1,000. I thought we were going to have to scrap this one, but we negotiated with them this morning, actually. And so we're able to pull that off. So that's what that money is for. I think that was $4,000. Summer camp was $4,000, or was it how much? Do you have those in front of you?
Kids Festival request was $5,000, Summer Fun Camp was $2,000, and
Okay.
Movies in the Park was $4,050.
Okay. So I don't know if everybody heard that. $5,000 for the fun day. Okay.
I can see it.
$5,000 for fun day, $2,000 for summer camp, and $4,000 for movies in the park.
Ken, the Research Center asking me the other communities, Mount Shasta, Denver, for TOT money for the kids.
These activities all go in the city of Weed.
I know, just does The resource center has not Shasta for any TOT money for the kids camp.
No, but those are all kids from the city of Weed, from what I understand. I don't run it, so I'm anticipating that those are kids from Weed. I would hope that most of them are, if not all of them. Mount Shasta's a little
They
stingy. Anyway, anyway,
So that's Family and Community Resource Center. Do we have someone from Siskiyou Food Assistance to come speak now?
Hi. Again, I'm Denise Spade. Thanks, Sandy. Thank you for your direction there. And thank you, Mayor Parham, for mentioning the Weed Farmers Market in your opening statements.
these were the-
As I said before, we're now in our fourth year, and the 5 leaders of our market, we're only 2 of them, very passionate about nutrition and impacting this community for that. We have 5 of our vendors live right here in Weed, and 4 of them completely depend on that for their income. This is Charlene, and she's going to tell you about the program that she manages. I manage the CalFresh program, and we also have Market Match. So somebody can come and take $20 off of their CalFresh EBT card. We can match that so they can spend $40 on fresh fruits and vegetables at the market. So they can either go to the store and get 2-week-old produce, or they could come and get produce with much higher nutrition value.
And the WIC program is fully funded this year. And just with our market this week, we had many people come in looking for the WIC benefits.
Are you all familiar with WIC?
So for the farmer's market, a WIC applicant can get $30 for the season to spend at the market, but it can be matched 4 times. So a WIC applicant will get $120 to spend at the market for the season, at our market or any of the markets that are participating. So it is a real benefit for the community to have the market going, and also the CalFresh program is just, it's thriving, right? We saw so many people just yesterday looking for it.
Yeah, but we also have lots of people that just pay cash, so that's good. And it takes years to grow an event like this. And one thing is, it's a free concert, basically, every single week, except for the week of Carnivale. We can't use Bel Air Park then. But we have been giving out these vouchers, and I'd like to provide one for each one of you council members. If you attend our market, I've marked off the first area. If you come 4 more times, you can get a $10 voucher to spend it with any vendor that you want at our market. And because we've been doing this for over a year, that's part of what's been increasing our attendance. It's been great. So thank you for your consideration of our proposals. I feel like it's important. Oh, can I make one little statement about the police officers not getting nighttime differential? I worked nights for 12 years as an ICU nurse, and I don't think that would, I know the budget is tight and everything, but in comparison to retirement packages and other things, signing bonuses, that would make a huge difference. People don't sleep the way the rest of you do, and just my 2 cents on that. It's all right.
Charlene, I didn't catch your last name.
First.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, did you want to speak on the Run for Food Walk and while you're?
Well, I'm retired from that part of things,
Okay.
but I know that they had over 200 people attend last November, and it was a great, the weather was nice. It wasn't nearly as cold as it can be in November on Thanksgiving Day, and it's fun because it's what there is to do around here, and it draws people from other communities. I don't have the stats on who came from where like I have in the past, but that's what I have to say about that.
Thank you. Next is Volcanic Legacy Community Partnership.
Good evening, council, honorable mayor. I'm Richard Dingus, and I'm the executive director for the Volcanic Legacy. It is a 500-mile byway from Susanville all the way up to Crater Lake. And some of our supporters have finally said after 12 years, we need to have an office. So what we've decided to do is have an office in Weed. So we're looking right now at two facilities that we may be able to start our business here in Weed, which would really help us expand. A lot of the bus services that we've talked to, the tour bus services like Tour for Fun, said they would be more than happy to come up to Weed. And then if we could get a bus service, which we've already talked to other people about, a tour bus going in both directions that go all the way to the Lava Beds National Monument in Crater Lake and then out towards Susanville. There's so many different places to visit that it is one of those things where we get missed all the time. And Weed is right in the middle of the whole legacy. And so we're hoping to put our office here. And then that would help draw people here. We would bring the buses here. We would bring people here into this community. And I think that Weed is just now turning a corner, which with the buildings downtown that are going to get refurbished, I think the town is going to look a heck of a lot better in the next couple of years. And I think you have great leadership here, and I think that the staff has been very, very accommodating for us. And I think that it's one of those things where the Volcanic Legacy needs to have a home. And I think Weed is going to be the place we're going to settle down in. So once we have it here, I think that's going to help the town really help the tourist season here and get us going in the right direction.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Question? Okay.
All right, next is the Weed Historic Lumbertown Museum. Do we have anybody from the museum here tonight?
I have no idea what they request. My name is Shirley Satana Dutton. I'm the president of the board there. And I'm not sure what they've sent because they don't tell me anything. I've had a series of medical emergencies and have missed meetings,
So it looks like
but I'm here.
looks like the request was for guide wages, and the requested amount was $25,000.
Wow. Well, we've got two people that work there through the season, and we opened at the end of May, and we go until the end of September. And one of them was born and raised here, so he knows a lot of the history, and he does a lot of the research. The other gentleman has been a tour guide there at the museum for years, and he is just a wonderful person to talk to. If you go in there and you see the museum, it is just a wonderful place to visit. We have, at the end of the school year, we have sometimes not bus loads, but they'll walk the kids down the school hill from the elementary school and give them tours. We actually have an old rotary phone on the wall, and they have dialed 911. A couple of times we've had little kids do that, so we finally disabled the phone. But it is just, we had so many difficulties over the last couple of years. We had a water pipe break under the building. It took a long time to get that actually fixed, and we had things fixed, and we're just trying to keep everything up and running. And whatever whatever you guys allot to us would be a gift. Thank you.
Thank you. And next is the Weed Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, everyone, council members and guests. My name is Donnie Slaybaugh. I am the Chamber of Commerce Secretary. I almost introduced myself in my role as the college because that's usually what I do. I do work at College of the Siskiyous as the Director of Public Relations in the College Foundation. And with me tonight is our Executive Director, Nancy Irvine. I'm going to share our request, and Nancy's going to follow up with a couple stats for you. The Weed Chamber of Commerce was established in 1953 and was founded to foster a strong business network and advance the interests of local business. Through its membership program, the Chamber creates opportunities for businesses to connect, collaborate, and build lasting professional relationships that strengthen the local economy and support our long-term community growth. Beyond its role in economic development, the Chamber serves as a unifying force within the community, bringing together businesses, residents, and visitors to strengthen the social and economic fabric of Weed. In partnership with our Visitor Center, the Chamber organizes 5 annual events that draw visitors from surrounding communities. While these events feature entertainment and promote local commerce, their deeper purpose is to create shared experiences that connect people. They provide opportunities for residents and visitors alike to gather, celebrate, and engage with local businesses, helping to sustain a vibrant and welcoming downtown. These events also preserve and celebrate Weed's unique history and traditions, fostering pride, belonging, and relationships that extend beyond individual events. The Chamber further invests in the community through its Scholarship Foundation, which awards annual scholarships to Weed High School students pursuing higher education at College of the Siskiyous or entering a trade. This commitment reflects the Chamber's dedication not only to economic vitality, but to nurturing the next generation of local leaders and skilled professionals.
My comments are simple, just kind of some stats on how many people we do see. We were closed for 3 months this year because of the budget cut. So in 11 months, we had 1,042 visitors. This year so far, since March 3rd, when we reopened, we have had 281. They're from all over the United States, of course, but all over the world. I mean, India, Russia, Austria, Germany, Vietnam, France, Italy, Brazil, Australia, Taiwan, Nicaragua. This is just in the last year. It's very interesting, and they all want to know about our history, and we tell them everything that we know. But the most questions they ask is what to do, and the Weed Museum, we support very much as the #1 question, what to do, and that is one of the main functions that we have here that they can go and enjoy. Where to eat, we send people to eat every day. They ask, where do we eat? Where do we hike? Where do we swim? Location of a nice park. I had that today. History of weed and cannabis is a big controversy. And they want to know, everybody thinks when they come here that that is why we are called weed. So we always tell them what we truly are. The story of Abner, of course. And they ask where to fish, where to get a license, and can they get to the mountain from here? And so we direct people every day to all the businesses that we support, and we would thank you for any support we get. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that is all of our presenters tonight. Do we have any public comment?
Again, my name is Shirley Satana Dutt, and I put in my application for TOT. There was no deadline on the paper. I apologize, I was told that it arrived too late, but I would still like it to be reconsidered. We have 2 lawnmowers, one is a 2001, one is a 2003, and we have it over at Lincoln Heights, and it leaks a quart of oil every time they mow the lawn. And we just really, really could use some help. So I would like to request that it be reinstated in for the TOT.
And what group is this?
Pardon? It's for Wyneema Cemetery Association.
Okay, not the
We
museum.
maintain 2 cemeteries, Wyneema and the Lincoln Heights. And they're both historical cemeteries, but we need help, especially with the Wyneema Cemetery. Not the Wyneema, but the Lincoln Heights. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I have copies of her request if you decide you want to consider it.
Okay, well, I'll leave that to council if they want to consider late entries.
I would like to do it, and I have to be honest, but I've laid my stuff out, and there's some folks that aren't gonna get anything. And for me to go and put this on, which this sucks. It's not fair to the ones that didn't receive anything. That's just how I look at it. But if the rest of the council's open for it, I'm okay.
I don't have an issue with the cemetery, to tell you the truth. My big issue over the last couple of years, I'm going to tell you right now, is that the city of Weed does not belong on this list, period. For those of you who have looked at the budget, the 20% that is allowed for these organizations to split up is 20% of what we take in. So the factor of 65,000 means that the city took in, I have to help me with my math, but about 325, 350, maybe somewhere around that neighborhood. And the city collects $265,000 out of TOT. For the city to ask, and I understand our shortfalls, I understand everything here. I've been here a long time, so I still object to putting the city in the same position as the rest of the organizations that bring fun and joy to being in this city, in my respects. We all enjoy the Carnivale. I have my pet peeves here with the Community Resource Center. There's the Collier Center, the Siskiyou Food Assistance, the New Legacy Highway, Historic Museum, and the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know what the Chamber of Commerce is supposed to do with $21,000, but I have a comment, but I'll leave it because it's my mom said I shouldn't speak that way. But I just don't think it belongs there. And actually, I would like to put on. What I want to do is I want to put on for future city councils for this to be not allowed. I believe it should, I believe that strongly in it, that the city should not be in this running for $65,000. Hopefully it's 150, and I might think differently, but at 65,000, I don't know. I mean, the chamber is a valuable organization. The museum, all of these organizations have value. And so does the city of Weed. But the city of Weed is already clicking down 265. We have bigger bills, I get it. But we're leaving part of our community out of this. We're leaving our community behind. And if you want support, again, if you want support from your community, you got to give support. And I'll get off my soapbox at this point, but hopefully that is well taken. And somebody, it's just wrong. Sorry, just wrong.
Well, I will say that for the fourth year in the row on the DS, I will echo that sentiment. As I've said for the previous 3 years, the city collected their portion of TOT, and this is for organizations like all of you in the audience tonight. And the fact that we're looking at an average of $20,000 means that several organizations will be underfunded or not funded as a result. So I too, have an issue with that, and I will voice that again. And Councilmember Zoni, I'd love to hear your comments.
On what?
Well, you had something to say there, so.
No, I said, you're like, whatever we put down there, whatever my price is, it's like you're saying that we didn't give enough to it. Well, we don't care about.
No, what I'm saying is that the city, in my opinion, is
So all the
double
other
dipping.
ones that are out here, they don't matter?
No, what I'm saying is that the city of Weed coming for this portion of TOT, to me, is immoral and a double dipping.
They got a thing down here. So don't go into the double dipping there. Don't go into where that money's coming from. This is
Well,
not
that's
the
my
time or
opinion.
the place.
Everybody has an opinion, Mark, and it's okay. You don't have to agree with me, you don't have to agree with Daryl, but this is just a valid point. The TOT, the balance of 20% of the TOT is supposed to go to organizations in this community. I'd have to read the ordinance, and it probably doesn't specifically state that, but the intent of this over the years has been, it goes to the organizations. This City of Weed thing on top, I get it, we need money. I don't have any issues with that. But is what follows is that the City of Weed never came to this organization in the first 10 years of my tenure on this city council. And of recently, I mean, I appreciate all these people here. I've been working with them forever. I mean, it's my extended family, for crying out loud. However, there are things I'd even take my brother to task on. So that's all I'm doing. It's what's fair, what's not fair. It started off with security. It started off with police. Again, it's the issue of the intent. And the intent is there.
Well, I totally disagree with you. And that's the choices that we made. I made the choice.
I know you made a
This
choice,
year,
but let me ask you something. If the City of Weed would not be on top, you would not have that choice. Is that correct?
no, that's a choice I made because I'm looking at the downtown area and I'm seeing what is a problem there. And obviously, we're looking at $1.5 million deficit in here. So I'm gonna try to help the
So
city.
my issue is what is $60,000 gonna do? The more
But it's
more
obvious
accurate
where-
way, the more accurate way of handling that, we are handling it. We're handling how we're gonna fix those issues.
Well, we've
You
shared
can't
our,
just stick your head in the sand and go, you have to fix stuff. That's
Well,
that's our job. So anyway.
everyone shared their opinions. At the end of the day, it is what it is. So,
It is what it is. It's just, that was my opinion. You don't have to
So-
agree or not agree. It's okay.
back to the original question is, do we have a motion from council to allow the cemetery group to enter in being past the due date? That was the original question.
Boy, we're gonna be here all night if we do that. Already.
And I don't hear any motion or requests, so otherwise we'll move on to the rest of the TOT disbursements. At this point, do we have any public comment? We've heard presentations from everybody. So currently, based on the current averages based on council member allocations of the $63,400 of TOT funds, $20,200 would go to the City of Weed for downtown cleanup. $1,100 would go to Collier Interpretive and Information Center. $3,340 would go to the Kids Day Festival. $1,380 would go to the Summer Fun Camp. $2,480 would go to the Movies in the Park. $1,175.40 would go to the Run for Food 5K walk. $500 to the Farmers Market. $250 to the Farmers Market apparel request. $900 for the Volcanic Legacy. $10,700 to the museum, and $21,374.60 to the Weed Chamber of Commerce, based on the current average of disbursement requests from council. So at this point, there's no other public comment. Is there any council members who would wish to change their current allocations? If so, now is the time to speak up.
Sandy, can you pull 5,000 from City of Weed? Add 1,000 to summer fun camp. Nope, down one. $1,000 to movies in the park. And 3,000 to the volcanic legacy.
All right. Are there any other council members that wish to change their disbursement requests?
I'd like to make some changes.
Okay.
What I want to do is give another $1,000 to Collier
Where did you want to pull that from? Councilmember?
from City of Weed. I want to. I can't. Yeah, I'll give the other $2,000. I can go over the average, right? Just give it to the weed chamber. I'll go over two.
All right. Any other council members that wish to change their allocations? All right. Do we have any further public comment?
Can I make one more change?
Of course.
Sandy, pull another 5,000 from City of Weed and put it down to the Chamber of Commerce. All right, now I'm done.
All right. I'll ask one more time. Do we have any more changes? If not, we'll accept the motion to move forward.
I'll make a motion to approve the TOT as,
Are we approving the average column?
I want to put it in my column.
I need to know the column we're approving.
Ken moves to accept his column for.
I move to approve the average column.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And for the public, since the screen isn't visible, so the final numbers for the City of Weed for downtown cleanup would be 17,600 of TOT funds. Collier Interpretive Information Center would be 1,300. For the Community Resource Center Kids Day Festival, 3,340. For the Summer Fun Camp, 1,580. Movies in the Park, 2,680. For the Siskiyou Food Assistance 5K Run Walk, 1,175 and 40 cents. Weed Farmers Market, $500. Weed Farmers Market Apparel, $250. For the Volcanic Legacy Byway Center, $1,500. The Weed Historic Lumbertown Museum Guide Wages, $10,700. And the Weed Chamber of Commerce Visitor Center, $22,774.60, totaling a total of $63,400 in TOT allocation.
Where'd 60 cents come?
Yeah, that's what it.
It's the average, so there's 40 cents.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
Made a dollar.
I want zeros, like zeros.
All right, now we'll move on to staff reports, and we'll start with Chief Carter.
All right, good evening. Last month, we completed over 100 hours of training, responded over to 40 calls, including medical aid, structure fires, and wildland fires. For the month of June, our staff is made up of 2 full-time, 1 grant-funded, and 3 seasonal firefighters and 2 volunteers. On average, 2 personnel per day. We have 3 people in the application and background phase of our resident firefighter program. Today, firefighter Edgar Martinez has been with us for almost 2 years now, left for around 3 months while he attends the Air National Guard boot camp in Texas. So looking forward to that and supporting him in that. We started our defensible space inspections over the last month, and thank you to everyone who's already completed their defensible space clearance. And our contractors are continuing work on our fuel mitigation project and have completed around 50 acres of fuel mitigation so far, which is great. Special thanks to Public Works. They were the people who cleared the dead grass and weeds from adjacent to the roadway. And last thing is, our residential burn permits will be suspended on Monday, June 15th. And that is all I have.
All right.
Thank
Thank you, Chief. Director Porterfield.
I don't have anything additional tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Davis.
So Gazelle Tank has started getting refurbished. That is part of the tank maintenance program that we went into contract with. They've started sandblasting the inside and outside of it. So luckily our rust bucket will not be a rust bucket anymore. We are also out to bid for curb gutter and asphalt replacement for East Lincoln Heights. And the bids are due on the 25th at 2:00 here at City Hall. And that's all I have.
All right. Thank you. Chief Mayberry.
Police Department had 1,597 total incidents with 602 calls for service, 36 cases, 10 arrests. Despite the staffing levels that were reported tonight, we actually were running shorthanded for the past month or several weeks. We were running 5. That includes 1 person who's on field training, so they're not considered a full officer. They will not be on their own until mid-July to August. We had 2 people that were out for excused leave. So we were running shorthanded. Officers were putting in overtime as well as covering dispatch, which has been shorthanded now for almost a year. So that is the status of the police department this month.
All right. Thank you, Chief. And our city clerk.
No report.
All right. And our city attorney.
Nothing to report this evening, thank you.
All right. And our city manager.
I'm just proud that we've got another contract in the books for the police, going back to trying to reverse the support reverse support choice of words, but we completed the agreement with the college. 5% the first year, 10% the second year, and then it will be renegotiated by amendment for the additional 3 years. So I'm pretty proud of that. Thank you.
All right. Well, that is all for staff reports. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We are so adjourned. Huh? I got some time. Let me hit the restroom real quick. Oh, these are from the farmer's market. You guys are interested.
I'll give one to my wife.
Take a look at it.
I never make it to the store anymore.
Never count for these, but
How many want? Another one? $10. Bring all 4 of them and tell them what. No, I'm not skeptical. Howard. Okay.
All right, I got the rest of my old turn momentarily.
Have to do it the day I go, but thank God I got a short tenure. Not temper, a tenure, tenure. Yeah. What's that? No, I thought it'd be relaxing and, I'm doing. You gotta do more business, gotta bring up their, not to sales stuff.
You know, it's rough time. It's very rough time. Even my friends down in Shasta Lake, they have 2 houseboats. Usually they're full with rental, not this year. Not this year, so, yeah.
I'm sorry, get on my pontification a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of accurate. I mean, we never did it before. And so it's like, every year it's kind of something, and we never stop needing stuff. That's a given. And so you just gotta figure, it's kind of like the fire hall's a problem, but we have a solution. What would be worse is if we couldn't get his feet alone. That's even worse. I guess we just turn these off, Sandy, we don't turn off automatically. Hey, I can do it. Oh, no, this was broken now. It's done. It's Jeremy. You gotta turn that one off. Get this one. I didn't get that one, yeah. The other one's wrong. I know, that's okay, you don't have to agree. Why? It's not a big deal. Well, I made it a big deal, so it's kind of, there's my hat. I've been looking for this. You got any glasses that you found here? I lost a pair of Ray-Bans too. Well, I'm gonna have to look for my sunglasses too. God dang it. Those are my favorite Ray-Bans. I never did find them. I lose glasses. Nah, it's not worth it. What is it worth?
He made a couple statements. We were here last time, we were gone. Fucking Rosebud and the paper. And I don't agree with you.
Well, we have to pull. I think the point is, for me, what we need to do, I'm not saying you take it and you keep what you do, but we need to get Main Street, so we don't really have another pool until we have potentially 800,000 possibly coming from another source. We have another 5 million from a brownfield there. That should, if we don't delay it to what I should take it there. But if we delay it, 1.5 or whatever, it would be $2 million, and I'm going, then we don't have.
Well, that's fine if they wanna,
And the same thing with, that's for the Main Street, and the other one is, we gotta have him at home.
that's not even an issue with me, that's so.
I mean, but it's the same fund.
But you know what?
You take it too hard.
No,
It's just,
because it means something to me, but I'm trying to say is, everybody's eyeballing $4 million all that's gonna take care of the problem. And if
it's not gonna take care of any of it, but my point is it can get us this, and then we can recover this. We can put the money back, and then we still have to stair step it, because we don't have the ability just to jump right up there.
I agree.
That's my
But
point.
here's what I don't think will happen. I don't think the money will ever get put back. I just.
I think Jill will take care of that. I do rely on the fact that, yeah, I have. I talked to him twice, and I've talked to the girls once.
Where I think it is, I sit back and come up with something to myself. That, you got something you want to sell. So I'm like, oh. No.
Well, I think the fact is we're all kind of, in a spot where we're kind of,
I'm not mad or nothing. I just want to get clarification on these things. Oh. But what was it?
No, I just heard you saying something and wanted to address it or. What is it, right? Yeah. No, so what I'm saying is, my opinion.
That's where I am. Oh, seriously.
I think that's when I started this idea. Years ago, we never.
Let's start.
But I don't know.
Yes. The problem is these people. Your budget we used to. It goes up every year.
The only reason we only close for 3 months. Is how worth it is $5,000.
Thank you. I know it's work. Well, I finished that murder one. I'm in a different murder.
Oh, Jesus.